Okay, welcome to this master class by Mr. Anand Subramaniam. He is a consultant, lean consultant, and today's topic is Gemaba Kaizen, where improvement has no end. This is a very interesting topic, and IPQC is very happy to bring this event to Indian SMEs, manufacturing companies. Especially, it's a part of our regular series. We bring the experts across the world from different countries, basically to connect to the Indian manufacturing companies. So we are happy to associate with this expert from Australia, and IPQC is we are basically focusing on three areas. One is training, consulting, and digital services for SMEs. And we built a expertise, and we are having experts all over the country, different regions of the world. We collaborate and we bring their expertise to many SMEs in India. And with this brief introduction to IPQC, we will introduce the speaker. Today's speaker basically is expert, lean expert, and he is basically is had almost 4 decades of experience in manufacturing companies and the service industry. Especially the majority work is basically from Australia, and he worked almost in 21 countries across the world. And he led many E2E transformation projects, basically related to manufacturing and service. And he's a multidisciplinary, multilingual, and his energy levels are very high. Even though after even 4 decades, is the same level he shows. And he's among 8 recognized people. Lean Shingo Gold. He is that elite group of 8 members in the world, and he is a master black belt. And he is basically focuses on Agile, and is focuses on project finance. And he lectures in MBA schools and B schools, in various B schools, and participates in conferences and seminars. And we welcome Mr. Anand Subramaniam for today's session. So please take over, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let me do a couple of things. Okay, before I start, let me thank all the participants. I see there are 9, and IPQC who have worked behind the scene to get this going. I must also give them special credit, because we started 6 days ago, and we interested hesitate and as the subheading goes, and you keep improving. How do I move the screen? Okay. Now, before I do that, I want to run a small poll. I'm not very familiar with many of these gadgets, so bear with me. Raju, oh, sorry. I'm unable to share. Something is going wrong on my side. Okay, I want to take a poll, but I'm finding it. Sorry, I got it. My apologies. And before I start, I put a couple of questions. All you got to do is whether the first one says, have you ever done a Gemba walk? Or how many have done a Gemba walk? How many have done a Kaizen? And how many has heard the word SDCA? Oh, pretty good. Okay, so with that, so the first question, how many have done a Gemba walk? 60. Oh, it has gone down. It was reading 67, now it reads at 50. How many have done a Kaizen? It reads at 75. Well done. How many have heard of SDCA? 75% say yes. So that's good. So that makes my life easy too. I'm just sharing the results. You're on mute. Okay, I stop sharing the results. And now that you all have some idea of what I have an idea of a Gemba, a Kaizen, SDCA, let's go forward. Something is happening over the internet where the thing seems to be not moving at the rate. Only my stories from the trenches as we speak, or from my consulting engagements across many clients. And I want to keep this thought going with you. To change, improve are two different things. It's a German word when I used to work in Germany, and it's up to you whether you agree or disagree. However, keep this thought process whilst I go through some of the slides. You can, if you want, you can write it down. To change and to improve are two different things. And I agree. I said that. Some of the caveats I like to show you before I march on. As I mentioned, these are my tools, and give credit to the four sensors I still keep in touch. They are in their 80s, though I'm also old, not that old, but it's an old number. There are 80 plus sites. Don't get scared. I'm not going through all of them. Some of them hidden. Even within the sites, many points be given to refresh your memory or to take.
Your voice is missing, sir. Can you check your audio?
Sorry. My apologies. Because now can you hear me?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay, my apologies. I didn't. I was just rattling off. My apologies. So I will go. I don't know where you out. Let's go from here. Okay. So as I was saying, when my voice was on mute, my apologies. These are my lessons learned, all my reflections from the consulting gigs I've done the last few years. And these are my views and my views only. So these are my work. Here's a German proverb. When I used to work in Germany, they used to drum this into me, and it says to change and to improve are two different things. Well, my take on this, I agree, but I will leave it up to you whether you agree or disagree. But this thought process is followed along all the PowerPoint slides I'm going to share today with you. Some caveats. Again, these are only from my travels and from my 4 senseis, who I keep in touch. My senseis are in their early 80s, late 80s. Some have worked with Taiichi Ohno. Taiichi Ohno was their sensei at that time. Yes, there are 80 slides. I am not going to discuss all, but I will highlight certain key takeaways from those slides. Some are hidden, and the PDF version is available after the event, and please get in touch with IPQ or get across to you. 2.5 hours of introduction. I will try to cover as much as possible and open the floor, more questions coming from you all. So if you do find a question, please write the slide number down so that when I go back, I can easily refer. It'll be easy for my reference. Thank you. So what do we cover, or what I'm hoping to cover is, since 60% know what SDCA, it'll make my life easy. So I'll cover the difference between SDCA and PDCA. What PDCA, everybody knows, Plan, Do, Check, Act. SDCA is Standardize, Do, Check, and Act. Then I will cover standard work, which is vital. As I said before, change from Gemaba,
So your voice is breaking. Sir, your voice is breaking. Can you check the voice, sir? Your voice is breaking, sir. Can you check? Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so you got to enable my video.
Yeah.
You said no, you cannot start the. Okay.
So can you check, sir, your video? Harish, can you check whether why is unable to share the video? Harish, are you there? Please go ahead, sir. Share your video. Yeah, your video is now coming. Please go ahead, sir. You are yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah, but you're on my video. You need to move your screen from my video.
Yeah, you can share the screen. Yeah. Please go ahead, sir. Your slide is appearing. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What I was saying was, you cannot have a Kaizen activity if there is no standard. The reason is very simple. If without having a baseline or without having what is the problem, the data behind it, you cannot later after doing a Kaizen prove whether you improved it or things became or went from bad to worse. So that is why you need to have a standard before you do Kaizens. Then I've given you or given as to why you need standards, but I'm not going through all of them. If you need to improve, or standards form the basis for improvement. Let me put it that way. Without standards, you don't know whether you're done well or you did nothing, or you went or things became went from bad to worse. Then now comes the why I keep insisting SDCA first before you do PDCA. If you see on the screen, you will see you're doing many Kaizen activities. Now, in organizations where I've worked, I've noticed they run multitude of Kaizen activities, don't allow or give the process owners or the process staff time to sustain the improvement. That sustaining period is where things are getting bedded down. If you start another Kaizen before bedding down things in the same area, you will find you might do 5, you might do 10, you might do many more. All will roll back to where it was because you haven't given enough time to standardize and maintain that Kaizen you did. Once, say, an organization has done a good job of sustaining it, I normally give a rule of thumb of 45 days. Do not start another activity in the same area. Wait till the first Kaizen is properly bedded down, or people are following what you said are going to be the new changes. I normally 45 days before I kickstart the next Kaizen in the same area. However, a person can start a Kaizen in another area where in this Kaizen, he was probably a participant. Next one, he can be a facilitator. And that is how you learn how to run Kaizens effectively. So the takeaway from this is don't run with multitude of Kaizens in the same area until you have sustained it for minimum of 45 days. And if you're starting new, I will raise the bar and I will say leave it for 60 days because this is the first time you're trying to do a Kaizen and how it works. Now, I want to start another poll, and there are 3 questions there. Do you know the meaning of standard work? Have you done standard work? And have you heard of TWI? I will probably, I'm trying to put the poll and it doesn't seem to, okay. Okay. So the first one is how many of you all know about standard work? How many have done standard work? And how many have heard about TWI? Oh, 100. Okay. That's pretty good. And there are 14 participants, I see. Okay, thank you. Well, I'm impressed. On the first one, 67% know what standard work is. Again, makes my life easy. I would say 50% have done standard work. Well, Raju, that might be another subject for another day where I can hold a session. And 83% have said they have heard about TWI. Well done. And that is very impressive, because I've gone even in the states where I've done this, though TWI originated there during World War 1940-1945, I think, by the War Department or the military department. Even there in the US, people haven't heard about TWI. And the reason I harp on TWI is one and only one reason. It tells you a good practice how to develop, for example, standard work, for example, job instructions, and the list continues. And you also learn how to become a very good facilitator. Well done. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on. I have a question coming up. Should I answer that? Okay, I need not answer that. It says yes, yes, yes. Okay, done. Now, how do I get back to? Okay, sorry. Okay, let's talk about standard work. As I said, if there is no standard work, or you cannot conduct a Kaizen. And I will, since you all know or have done, or 50% have said they have done, just for the people who haven't done standard work, first and foremost, one needs to understand is the takt time. That's basically a theoretical time. The very simple way to calculate is the available time over the customer's demand for that day. That's the available demand for the day. Available time for the day divided by the customer's demand for the day. Simple formula. Available time, again, be very careful. Do not factor your lunch breaks and tea breaks. That is your net. It should read as net available time. And then divided by the customer's demand for that day will give you the takt time as to how many widgets he needs per, depending if you're going in an hour by hour basis or by seconds, how many widgets you can produce for that second or for that hour. Then the next part is the work sequence or the steps in which the operator performs the task, and that too, it should be within that takt time. Otherwise, you cannot meet the customer's demand. And it is in this area where you will come to notice whether you have under-resourced, over-resourced, or overworked, underworked. And a takeaway from this is, if you know this very well, this is where Mura and Muri, that is Mura, which is basically you are taxing the system or taxing that person. Muri is broken. That is, there is a bit of a difference between load balancing here. So if you get that right, then at least some of the waste can be eliminated, such as overwork, rework, waiting, etc. The other part is your standard work in progress or standard inventory that is required before you commence the process, so that you don't wait for the widget to arrive. You start with a defined work in progress, and then you can go with a one-piece flow or whatever flow you have suggested to do, and it should operate very smoothly thereafter. Well, this is in theory, but if you put this in practice, this standard work, the place where it comes to bite you is definitely the work sequence. And the other area is, they say we do start with the standard work in progress of 5 widgets, but you find even with 5 widgets, they are unable, or they are able, the number of widgets before the process is too much or too little. some of the documents which I have used and I've seen organizations using around in the places where I've gone to consult. One is the production capacity. The other one is a standard combination table. And the next one is a standard worksheet. Now, I'm not going into these in detail, but to tell you, some organizations have, but the essence, they capture the same thing. However, the format is different. I'm not fussed with that as long as it works for them and it makes sense. So these are the 3 documents you see being used by Toyota by the guys in Toyota, plus many companies like Porsche, where I used to do some consulting, have also started using this, and also Harley-Davidson. Now, why is TWI important here? So for people who didn't know what TWI was, it means training within industries. It is in this place, JI means job instructions, JR means job relations, JM is job methods, and program development is PD. I'll give you a brief overview of what job instruction means. The way TWI have spelled how to do a job instruction, it is step-by-step method, and it is very well documented. And if you read the manuals, you get a gist as to how clear it is when you are writing a job instruction. And another great thing about reading that job instruction, they also highlight the points of failure or where things could go wrong, the points where you could get injured. So that is also documented in job instruction. So job relationship or job relation is basically how the supervisor and his fellow workmates have a good working relationship and respect for one another. And also the supervisor has all the humility to come and understand how the work is being done and what the issues are. The job methods are similar to work. The only other difference in the job methods is it is in this place where you new ideas from the workforce saying, hey, boss, we can do this in a different way. We've been doing this for months of Sundays, but I got an idea. Like, can we try it out? That is another area where the supervisor and the particular team person get together and find out whether it would work. Program development is basically creating the training program to roll out the job instruction, job relations, and or job methods. Very few organizations use program development, but from what I've seen, many do tend to use it. Some of the, when I presented this last time at a conference, some of the questions that came is how come job safety is not there? Yes, job safety is not there because TWI believes that in instructions, in the methods, the safety is and should be built in. So hence there is no separate thing called JS. So that's already done in the instructions and the relationships, and the job relations and the methods. Then there was another question that was asked, why isn't problem solving so important in TWI? Well, the way it was run, don't ask, just follow those steps and it should work. Yes, later they realized, the respect for people is not there, getting their input. So they introduced problem solving somewhere in 1955, and the other one, leading discussions, which is basically facilitating thing, also has been introduced. So I, at the present moment, I am doing a couple of certification, not for the certification purpose, but to improve myself as a better coach, better facilitator. So I am doing some training. I'm doing some certification with TWI. If you guys are interested, you can go into the TWI website, just Google it, and you can find what you're looking for. There are excellent presentations. excellent white papers. If you are interested, have a look at it. It'll be I would say it'll enrich you. Okay, so how do we bring all done job instructions, job methods, job R, or job relations? Here's a standard work which I picked up where on the user has listed the sequence of activities. And then the second column is, again, a Six Sigma term. It is critical to quality or critical to safety, but in this particular place, the organization decided to use those words, but in many places, they do say value at a time or non-value at a time and list the activities down. The third circle is the tools. It can be your PPE clothing. It can be anything that you use to fix the widget. And the fourth circle is about the applications one would be using. It can be robotics, it can be a pull system, whatever, or it can be an IT system. Now, when we set up the flow area, and I'll give you the reason, you'll see the arrow there. And so there are two types of arrows.